What up YouTube, it's your boy ProfessorStix and I'm back again with another Call of Duty Warzone video. Today we're going to be comparing the FFAR and the GROZA. We'll be comparing the stats, looking at the best attachments, and we'll be looking at the recoil pattern. I'm going to share with you why the GROZA is going to rise to the top of the meta. I mean, we've seen it before. The MAC-10 got nerfed, the FFAR is definitely going to get nerfed, and so the GROZA is going to rise to the top as the preferred choice for close range weapons. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I make Warzone tips and tricks videos and I compare the best weapons in Warzone so you can rise to the top. Let's get into it. Now, when we're looking at the weapon stats, the FFAR has an ADS speed of 238 milliseconds. Whereas the GROZA has an ADS speed of 221 milliseconds. The movement speed for the FFAR comes in at 4.69 meters per second, and the GROZA has a movement speed of 4.8 meters per second. So when we're looking at the reload speed, the FFAR does one in 2.48 seconds, and the GROZA does a reload in 2.12 seconds. The rate of fire for the FFAR is 900 rounds per minute, and the GROZA comes in at 754 rounds per minute. And so we can see here that the GROZA does have an edge when it comes to speed. The only place that it falls off is that the rate of fire for the FFAR is higher than the GROZA. Let's get into the damage profile. When we're looking at the damage profile, the FFAR does 45 damage to the head, which means it's going to take 6 shots to down a fully armored opponent. And the GROZA also does 45 damage to the head, which means it's also going to take 6 shots to down a fully armored opponent. When we're looking at the chest, the FFAR does 33 damage to the chest, which means it's going to take 8 shots to down a fully armored opponent. And the GROZA does 36 damage to the chest, which means it's going to take 7 shots to down a fully armored opponent. It's important to keep in mind that the FFAR has a damage fall off of 36 meters and the GROZA has a damage fall off of 31 meters. Let's get into the time to kill. Now, when we're looking at the FFAR, if you hit all of your headshots, you're going to down a fully armored opponent in 333 milliseconds compared to the GROZA, which is going to down somebody in 398 milliseconds. Now, if we're hitting all of our chest shots, the FFAR downs somebody in 467 milliseconds and the GROZA comes in at 477 milliseconds. This is very close, and this means that the GROZA is very forgiving. If you hit just all chest shots, you are very competitive with the FFAR, which means that you can start using the GROZA right now to combat the FFAR. Now, take a look at this. If you hit one headshot with the FFAR, you're still going to down somebody in 467 milliseconds. If you hit 2 or 3 headshots, you're going to down somebody in 400 milliseconds. And that's where the FFAR just becomes an absolute monster. That rate of fire brings the time to kill way down, and 400 milliseconds is an absolute beast. But take a look at the GROZA. If you hit 1, 2, or 3 headshots, you're still going to down somebody in 477 milliseconds, which is very good compared to some of the other ARs and SMGs that we have in Warzone. So if you're not the type of person that hits a lot of headshots, the GROZA is really good to switch things up. And by the way, once they nerf the FFAR, the GROZA is going to have one of the fastest time to kill in the game. So let's take a look at the recoil pattern. All right, so as you can see here, the recoil patterns are pretty much the exact same. I bet you can't tell the difference between the FFAR and the GROZA, but I have them labeled here. The FFAR is on the left and the GROZA is on the right. I actually did it twice, one on the left panel and the right panel, just to see if there'd be any inconsistencies. And weird enough, the FFAR stopped short on the left side, but on the right side it kept going, and the GROZA stopped short on the right side, but on the left side it kind of kept going. Both of these recoil patterns were done with 30 rounds in the magazine, but you can see the S-shaped recoil pattern is here, which is very similar to a lot of other ARs in Warzone, so not much to talk about here. Both of these are going to be very easy to use. Let's talk about the situational use. Both the FFAR and the GROZA are amazing at close range. They absolutely melt in point blank range, and so you should definitely be using the FFAR and the GROZA as your secondary weapon. You want to pair it up with either the AUG, the AMAX, a sniper like the CAR or the Tundra. It is just absolutely a melt machine. So close range combat to that medium range, that damage fall off is about 30 meters, so you don't want to test it at longer distance than that. The GROZA's recoil pattern is pretty easy, but at those longer distance it does start to shake. You want to use the FFAR or the GROZA to storm buildings, get up close and personal. It is really great for clearing out rooms because it has that larger mag than most SMGs, and so you're going to be able to use this as an SMG has a close range substitute. All right guys, let's get into the attachments. All right, so for the FFAR, you're going to want to go with the agency suppressor, the 20.3 inch takedown barrel, the field agent grip, the salvo 50 round fast mag, and the Raider stock. This is a great build if you're using the FFAR as a secondary. For the GROZA, you're going to want to go with the GRU suppressor, the 15.7 inch contour M2 barrel, the Spetsnaz speed grip, the 60 round fast mag, and the KGB pad. This GROZA is super fast. The stray speed is absolutely insane. Go ahead and enjoy it. All right, so here are my final thoughts. When it comes to the GROZA, like I said guys, the GROZA is going to rise to the top. Start leveling it up now. Once the FFAR gets nerfed, I don't know how they're going to nerf it. Maybe they're going to increase the recoil, or maybe they're going to reduce the damage because it has such a high rate of fire. Whatever they're going to do, it's going to be nerfed, and the GROZA is going to rise to the top because the GROZA already has a competitive TTK. Not only that, the GROZA right now is a faster weapon than the FFAR, and so for those reasons, you're going to see a lot of pros starting to use the GROZA. Joe Woe already made a tweet about it, and I'm telling you guys, it's going to be absolutely insane. So you better start upgrading your GROZA. All right guys, that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back for more Call of Duty content. Also, I'm streaming over on Twitch, link will be in the description below. Make sure you drop into Verdansk and keep on fragging out. Peace.